darkness whispers, the unknown calls, and you have answered. Welcome to a realm where fear is real and nightmares come alive. I am your storyteller, your guide through the shadows. Tonight's tale will test your courage and challenge everything you think you know about what lurks in the dark. So settle in, brave soul. The horror begins now. There is something about a summer night that makes you feel invincible. The warm air, the empty road, the quiet hum of an engine carrying you somewhere, or nowhere at all. That night, I had nowhere to be. I was driving alone, my father's BMW, a black highway stretching ahead of me like a throat waiting to swallow something whole. No music, no radio, just the wind threading through the open windows and the sound of my own breathing. I should have gone home. Instead, something pulled me off the main road. I still can't explain it. Call it curiosity, call it instinct. I took the exit, a thin, unlit road that wound through the dark like it was hiding from the rest of the world. Trees on both sides, no houses, no lights, just me. And then, I saw it. I pressed the brakes so hard the tires screamed. In the middle of the road, a shopping cart. Just sitting there, perfectly still, perfectly placed. Now, you have to understand, there's nothing around for miles, no grocery store, no neighborhood, no reason for a shopping cart to be here. And yet, there it is. I sat in the car for a moment, engine idling, eyes searching the dark on either side of the road. Nothing moved, nothing breathed. Against every instinct I had, I got out. The night air hit me like a cold hand on the back of my neck. I walked toward the cart slowly. My footsteps sounded too loud on the asphalt. The headlights cast long shadows that seemed to lean toward me. I reached the cart. I looked inside. Empty. Of course it was empty. And then, movement. Two figures, bursting from the tree line, sprinting toward me, not stumbling, not wandering, sprinting. Like they had been waiting, like they had been watching, like I was exactly what they had been waiting for. I ran. I don't remember deciding to run. My body just moved. Muscle memory, survival. I dove into the driver's seat and turned the key just as one of them slammed into the passenger door. I expected him to fall back, to recoil from the impact. He didn't. He just stood there, pressed against the window, staring at me. His eyes, I will never forget his eyes. There was nothing behind them. No pain from the impact, no expression, no humanity. Just vacancy. Like the lights were on inside a house where no one had lived for a very long time. He reached for the door handle. I drove. I didn't stop until I was back on the highway. I didn't stop until the streetlights surrounded me like something safe. My hands didn't stop shaking for an hour. When I got home, I walked around the car. There was blood, smeared across the passenger side door, and a dent. I filed a report. I told them everything. The cart, the road, the figures, the eyes. They took my statement. I never heard back. I've had a long time to think about what happened that night, and there is only one explanation that makes sense to me. The cart was bait. The road was the trap. And I was the one that almost didn't make it home. What I keep asking myself, late at night when the room is dark and the silence gets too loud, is this: what happened to the ones who stopped and didn't run? This happened a couple of years ago, and I've never spoken about it the same way twice, because every time I do, it gets harder to explain why it still haunts me. I'm a long-haul truck driver, 50, 60 hours a week, just me, the engine, and the road. You get used to the silence, You get comfortable in it. That was my first mistake. It was late, deep into the night. I was cutting through a stretch of desert highway that most people don't even know exists. No towns, no gas stations, no lights on the horizon. Just an endless black ribbon of asphalt stretching into nothing, and the low hum of my rig pushing through the dark. I had about an hour left to my drop-off. That's when I noticed it. A dark SUV, sitting in my mirror. No markings, no distinguishing features, just there. At first I didn't think much of it. Roads are shared, people travel at night. That's normal. But then a mile passed, then 5, then 10. It never got closer, never fell behind. It simply matched me, speed for speed, turn for turn, as if it were tied to me by something invisible. 40 miles it followed me, 40 miles of empty desert road, and this thing never once moved to pass. Something inside me shifted, that quiet, primal part of your brain that existed long before logic did. It was screaming. I made a decision. I pulled into a small roadside rest stop, barely more than a gravel patch and a flickering light, hoping it would simply drive past. It didn't. The SUV pulled in behind me. No one got out. The engine idled. The headlights stayed on. And whoever was inside just watched. I'm not a man who frightens easily. Ask anyone who knows me. But sitting in that cab, watching that vehicle in my mirror, I felt something I hadn't felt since I was a child. I felt hunted. I got out. I walked toward them, chest forward, jaw set, the way you do when you're more afraid than you want to admit. Before I could reach the vehicle, it was gone. Tires spitting gravel, headlights swallowed by the dark, just like that. I told myself it was nothing. Paranoid drivers, someone lost. A coincidence stretched too far by an overactive imagination and too many hours behind the wheel. I finished my check, climbed back into the cab, and eventually, I slept. An hour later, something woke me. Not a sound exactly, more like the absence of one. That strange electric stillness that exists right before something goes wrong. And then, crunch. Slow, deliberate. The unmistakable sound of footsteps on gravel, trying very hard not to be heard. I looked into my side mirror. 2 figures, low to the ground, moving along the side of my trailer with the practiced ease of people who had done this before. One of them was holding bolt cutters. They were inside the rest stop, in the dark, with me. And they had been quiet enough that I almost didn't wake up. Almost. I slammed my hand into the horn. The sound tore through the desert like a gunshot. They ran, both of them, gone into the shadows before I could even process what I was seeing. And then the headlights appeared again. That same dark SUV, waiting at the edge of the lot, engine already running. It collected them in seconds, and then it disappeared into the night for the last time. I called the police. They came. They looked. And when the officer shone his flashlight along the side of my trailer, he found exactly what I feared. Pry marks around the locks. Fresh ones. Cargo thieves. That SUV had been following me for 40 miles. Not out of coincidence. Not out of curiosity. They had been studying me, measuring me, waiting for the precise moment when I was alone enough, tired enough, still enough, to make their move. They chose that rest stop deliberately. I just happened to wake up. People ask me sometimes if anything strange has ever happened out on the road. I always think of that night, that mirror, those figures crouched in the dark, and the terrible realization that the most frightening thing about it wasn't that they followed me. It was how long they had been watching before I ever noticed.